James Hollifield, who is a global fellow at the Woodrow Wilson International Center here in Washington and a professor of political science. He joins us now from Dallas, Texas. James, great to have you with us. What do you think Johnson's options are at this point? We understand as a last result, he may threaten a vote of no confidence. How likely is that?
Well, I think his only option right now is to go back to Parliament and try to get a vote for an election. And for the moment, anyway, the Labour Party and the other parties in Parliament are unwilling to give him the two-thirds vote he needs to actually get an election.
So Johnson's strategy was essentially to up his negotiating power with the bloc by threatening a no-deal Brexit. Why haven't we seen MPs on board with that?
Well, there's never been a majority in the Parliament for a no-deal Brexit. You know, the party, the Conservative Party and the Parliament are very badly split on this. And there is simply no majority for moving forward, especially with a no-deal Brexit.
Mm-hmm. So where does it, very divisive Parliament vote there? I mean, it wasn't even close. I think it was 298 out of 400 something votes that were needed for it even to pass. What do you make of the breakdown in all of that? One party actually voted to abstain, and then there were 56 no's.
Prime Minister Johnson has found himself in the same position as his predecessor. He's trying to force something through Parliament. Parliament is unwilling to swallow this idea that if they just stand behind him, that he can go back to the EU, get a better deal, bring it to Parliament before the 31st October deadline. So he's in the same situation as Prime Minister May, unable to get Parliament to go along with his plan. And I think there's a great suspicion among the majority of MPs, including a lot of rebels in the Conservative Party, that they simply don't trust him. They think he's laid a plan, a trap here for Britain to crash out of the EU. That is what he has promised. If he can't get a deal, that Britain will simply crash out of the EU. So the Parliament has taken back control from him. Some people have made the analogy this is like a parliamentary crisis in the 17th century between the King and the Parliament. That may be a slight exaggeration, but clearly Johnson is not going to be able to push something through this Parliament. He's not going to be able to use some procedural tricks to get Parliament to agree to an election and then hold the election after the Brexit deadline, so that Britain would then in effect crash out of the EU. So what we're seeing right now is a lot of maneuvering between the new government in Number 10 Downing and the House of Commons. You know, there was a majority to pass this bill today that would basically require the government to go back and ask for an extension again, so that there would be more time to negotiate and deliberate. Johnson has said that he will not do that. This bill has passed. It now goes to the House of Lords. There's some concern that the House of Lords might hold it up. And of course, Johnson has decided to prorogue or suspend the Parliament starting on Monday. So Parliament wouldn't be able to get back in session really in time to legislate. So you essentially got a standoff here between the Parliament and the Prime Minister.
Well, it sounds a lot like the plight of his predecessor, James Hollifield, with the Woodrow Wilson International Center here in Washington. Appreciate you being with us. Thanks for that.